Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Two Grown Men. My name is Olaomi, and with me, as usual, is my brother.
Yemi, good evening, everyone. Once again, how is everyone doing tonight? Hope everyone's
Welcome.
doing well.
Yep. How was your day, man?
Yeah, tiring. Work. Went to the gym for a bit. Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Okay. Okay. So today we're talking epic. We're talking P Diddy, P
Yes,
Diddy, Sean Puffy, Puff Daddy, P Diddy Combs, the Puff Diddy Bob. We're
that guy's
talking
had a
P
lot of
Diddy.
names, man, in the past, man. So
Yeah, keeps
we knew
reinventing.
him when he was
Yeah,
called Puffy. In the
Puffy.
90s, he was called
Yeah,
Puffy. Yeah, I mean,
Puffy. Sean Puffy
Diddy,
Combs.
this guy used to call him Puffy.
Yeah,
Uh, the
it was
late
called
Notorious B.I.G. used to call him
yeah,
Puffy.
it was called Sean Puffy Combs in those days.
Yeah, and then he changed to Puff Daddy, and then it just became ridiculous.
He just became Didi.
Yeah, it became
So
ridiculous.
I gave up. I stopped trying to keep up with it. I didn't bother myself anymore at some point. He's just Diddy to me now. So he's just P Diddy to me. Yeah, because
Yeah,
he became P Diddy. There was P Diddy and there was Diddy. Like,
and
come
it was
on, man, make
Diddy,
up your
and then it
mind.
was PD, and then I think the latest one is Love. So people used to call him Brother Love. So Love is actually his legal name now.
Sorry,
Um,
what?
Love, Love.
That's his real legal. He's changed his name to Love.
Yeah, his legal name is Love. Yeah.
Too much
So,
money.
like in the indictment, which we'll get to in a minute, his names are Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love. This is in the official indictment document filed by the United States District Court, Southern District of New York. This is official that I've just read to you, viewers. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe, like this video. Lami, what are your thoughts? Diddy got
Um,
arrested, was it a couple
we've
of days
discussed this
ago?
thing a couple of times, and we were like, you
Will he
know,
get arrested? Is where I
will
think
he
where we
get
stopped.
arrested? What's going to
Because we're just taking
happen?
we're just dragging, wasn't it?
It was draggy, though. It was
Mm,
draggy. But it's also like we said, when you are trying to take down a billionaire, all right, you
mm.
are going to cross every single T, dot every single I, make sure your commas, your full stops, all your punctuation are in the right place. Everything, even your amio.
Hmm.
Make sure your amio is in the right place or your doremi. Because like you said earlier today, they can hire the best lawyers, they can get the very best, and they can throw your case away. They can hire all the experts too. They can throw money at it. They can spend Diddy can spend $100 million to protect himself. They have a
Was
budget, they have the
offering
money,
was
they have
offering
the
was
budget.
offering $50 million for the bail conditions,
Yeah,
and it was rejected. So I agree with you. If he can offer 50 million for bail, he can offer 100 for lawyers.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, he was never going to get bail. He's a flight risk.
Apparently, that's not even the reason why it was denied. It was
What
denied
was the reason?
because they said he had been contacting witnesses. He called one witness 54 times, allow me.
Yeah, 54 times.
So it was a lady and it was trying to coerce her or get her not to talk. So to
Yeah,
your point, what I think happened was they found a lot of stuff in March. So in March, as you know, his houses were raided. So his house
yeah,
in LA was raided, and the house in New York was raided, and the house in Miami was raided. So three locations were
oh,
raided
yeah,
simultaneously, right? They found stuff, but they couldn't move. In my opinion, they couldn't move, and this is not a legal opinion. They couldn't move because, like you said, the worst thing a top prosecutor wants to do is to make a fool out of themselves. These top prosecutors tend to go into politics in the US and become governors, some of them senators, and having a big fish to arrest. It doesn't have to be a celebrity, but a big fish. It could be a drug pin, whatever. Solving a really big case, especially if it's criminal in nature, gives you a lot of bragging rights when you go to the voters to
Yep,
say,
there's a lot of
I'm your guy,
mileage.
I'm going to
Yeah,
reduce crime. Because
yeah.
when I was prosecutor, I took down this, I took down that. So you don't want to get it
Oh
wrong.
yeah.
So
Oh
having
yeah.
evidence is not enough. You also need people that can testify. So I think that's where they were working on the people that they can call to court when it goes to trial. That did you see these activities happen, and are you willing to swear on that oath that you saw them happen? And I think that's where Diddy was now trying to speak to those people. To my earlier point, that
Mm.
guy, don't talk. Oh, 250K will be on. I'm just alleging now. This I don't know anything. I don't know how this that world goes, but 54 times I think is a lot.
I mean, look, even calling your mother 54 times.
In a day.
Hey, guy, what do you want? What was that? What's how much money do I owe you that I'm calling you 54
What
times?
are you looking?
I think, I mean, so the two main reasons why you deny bail, this person
Flight
is a
risk?
flight risk,
Uh-huh.
or this person is likely to tamper with witnesses or
Obstruct
tamper with
justice.
evidence or obstruct justice, yeah,
Mhm.
which is tampering with evidence or tampering with witnesses.
Mhm.
And if he's already trying to do so, if he was already doing so, then you make it easy for the judge to say no.
Mhm.
You make it very easy for the judge to say no because there's evidence of what they are about to allege that you are going to do. You're already doing it.
Yes.
You're already doing it now. So there's no point. Look, it doesn't take a big stretch of the imagination anymore for your lawyer to tell, for the prosecutor to tell the judge that, my lord, look, this guy is a flight risk. He's got resources. He's a multi-billionaire. He's got resources. But beyond his resources, this geezer is also guaranteed to tamper with witnesses.
Mhm.
Because look at the evidence. My lord, it's not even guesswork anymore. My lord, I'm not asking you to imagine. Here's the proof. Bros, is this you? Did you call the person 54 times? Yes. So why did you call her 54 times? No. Clearly, he's nervous.
Nervous. You don't. I think you're using a very light word. Yeah, you're using a very mild. His world has crashed. What he knew it to be has crashed. The no for those people, for viewers that don't know Diddy, we gave a few names. This man um was a giant in entertainment, a giant in music. He was one of the best fusing R&B and hip hop. R&B stayed on its lane, hip hop stayed on its lane. But when Diddy came, when Puffy came, was able to blend both in tracks almost seamlessly. He didn't produce them, but he knew he had the ear for music and he had the ear for packaging. But to see someone go to that height, to your point, Laomi, and then just come crashing down. To say he's nervous, to see everything, the empire, what he built over 30 years, maybe.
Crumbling. And
And
it's not
and
just
guess
crumbling,
what?
it's prison. It's also prison.
And it's not happening. You see, it's not like them Weinstein, them and all these guys. Those guys can say they even had good 70 years to go. Madoff, Weinstein, all those old guys, they're like, okay, I
Yeah.
had my run. I'm 70
Yeah.
now, I'm a grandfather, whatever. But this guy is 54, man. He still has a lot of
Still got
mileage
plenty of life
to
left.
enjoy life and to see that at his peak. But
54.
for everyone who's sure, if you don't know what we're talking about the arrest. So Didi was arrested a couple of days ago, like we said, and really it was arrested and charged with 3 counts. So the first count is on racketeering, conspiracy. The second count, I believe, I believe, was on sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. And then the third count is transportation to engage in prostitution. Strong charges. Allow me. Can we break each of these charges? Do you want to break them down? or do we just talk generally about this case? Because I don't know where to start from. Because
Oh, look,
what they are saying is that he's the enterprise that he created, like I mentioned earlier, was now used to um, aid and abet the sexual activities that were going on. And
exploitation of men and women.
the allegations are damning. The things I read, there is a 14 page. I took time yesterday to actually read every page of the 14 page, and no names were mentioned, but they're saying that the abuse was verbal in nature, emotional in nature, physical in nature, sexual in nature. We're hearing about 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I think that's the one that grabbed the
50 cent attention.
headline.
50
Me, I like
cents.
massages. But 1,000 bottles of baby oil is a bit
That's
much.
a lot of massage. That's a lot of happy endings, man.
Yepa.
That's a lot of massage with happy endings. What? When I saw that, I was like 1,000 bottles. Kilo day. How many are you massaging? How far?
Hmm.
Like, really?
Really? Oh.
Really?
Hmm. So it talks about racketeering and just yeah, just using people that were members and associates of his empire. So think about supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, using those people to facilitate what he called freak offs. So freak offs are pretty much getting from the I'm reading from the indictment now, getting
Orgies.
male sex
Yeah,
workers,
orgies.
yes, and women together in a room. He's watching them, he's beating off to them,
Yeah,
he's
orgies.
joining them. And guess what? They were IVs that they had to use to give them energy because they did it so much that they passed out. Lam is in the indictment. This is not slanderous talk, and this is not it's actually in the indictment. They uncovered, vials of IVs alongside the baby oil that we mentioned, and they got some videos as well. They didn't talk about the videos. There were
Yeah, video.
lubricants,
I, I,
extra
I saw.
linen. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy.
I started reading the indictment, and I remember maybe like on page 3, I was like, no, now too much. Like, one person, come on.
But so here's my question. Did he so let's even remove Didi. We'll come back to
Uh,
Didi in a minute. Who were those that were enabling him, and could he have done this alone? Because I'm always worried about all this one man mastermind. It doesn't just add up for me that one man it can't be the only person that is enjoying this lifestyle. I don't want to believe
oh
that.
no, 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 no. But you read the indictment and you read some of the stories. They've named other people.
Not in this
Kibagudi Jr.
indictment,
was
though.
named. No, no, no.
Maybe
I'm saying.
previous.
I said you read the stories. There have been
Yeah.
the lawsuits, right? So there have been lawsuits, and in those lawsuits, they've named people. They've given strong hints about other people.
Hmm.
So Cuba Gooden Jr. has featured in a couple of lawsuits, I think.
Yeah.
He's named explicitly by a man who said Cuba fondled me. Cuba tried to have. I can't remember the guy now. Cuba tried to fondle. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, but the thing is, like I was saying before, that billionaires are the 1% of the 1%, right? They're the elite of the elite.
Mhm.
You don't get that rich without an army of enablers. Look, the guy that's worth $100 million is your enabler. He's your errand boy. Because you got 10 times his net worth. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Can you get that wealthy without having a crime?
You can have a guy that's worth $100 million as your employee.
Yes.
You have like the Microsoft guys, the guys in tech. There are guys who have employee options. Look, what's his name? Apple CEO.
Hmm.
Tim Cook. Is that
Mhm.
his name?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. He's an employee. But it's a
He's an
billionaire.
employee. He's an employee.
Yeah. He's a billionaire. Just gauge that. for you to be the employer of a billionaire, but even the guy who just hits the first rung, that first rung, first billion.
Of the
Look,
ladder.
$100 million is a lot of money. $50 million is a lot of money.
Sick money.
That's sick money. All right. So I don't doubt. Look, they'll have enablers. Then also, a guy who's worth $1 billion has friends who are worth 50, 60, 70, 100 million, who are also very rich men in their own right. So when you got this guy, his hangers on, their hangers on, his enablers, their enablers, everybody's enablers. That's a potpourri of enablers, man. So who is the guy in the room saying, guys, like, pause, or we need to slow down? If everybody's a yes man, if you're surrounded by yes men, who is telling you to slow down?
Nobody.
If the guy who is your hanger on, because you're worth 2-3 billion, the guy who's your hanger on, who's worth 200 million, has hangers on that millionaires.
2-3 million. Easy.
That guy that's your subordinate, right? That guy that worth 200-300 million, that's your subordinate, right? That's your employee. Has hangers on them.
So this thing is just a food chain. From caviar to agbalumo.
That's it.
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
From caviar to
From
agbalumo.
agbalumo to caviar, there's a level. See, from ejakika to smoked salmon to your tuna, whatever it is, the levels. Wow. Everybody got their level now. Because look, the guys that hung around Diddy, for example, there are producers in there, the guys that won Grammys in there, the guys that when you Google and you check their net worth, the people in there that are worth $50 million, $60 million, $70 million. And that's a drop in Diddy's ocean, right?
Yeah.
A man that's worth 100 million, a guy that's worth 70 million is worth, if Diddy's worth, a guy that's worth 7 million, for example, is worth less than 1% of Diddy's net worth. A guy that's worth 70 million, Diddy's worth more than 10 times that guy, 20 times that guy. But that guy's a very rich guy in his own right.
Very, very rich.
That's a rich guy. And it's somebody's guy. We're talking today. So we're talking about why it's taking so long to go from search to indictment to arrest and all that. Like we said before, they just need to be sure of their case. Because
is this
Simpson.
Slam dunk though? Because I'm always very, very cautious.
There are no slam dunks.
I've been bitten in the past. I know it's a different case, but I wasn't on Johnny Depp's side. And I regretted not being on his side. I believed Amber. I know it's a completely different case. I believed Amber locked up.
The narrative
until
the evidence was too strong against him.
Yeah, until they went to trial and everybody left with eggs on their faces. Well, let me speak for myself. I left an egg on my face, and since that trial, I stopped giving anybody 100%. I like to, but what I'll say is the court of public opinion. It's pretty much 100%. There's nobody even on the other side. I mean, I think it's really that video. That video that came out.
I was just going to say that. Don't forget that a picture speaks 1,000 words.
I mean, that video was bad.
A video speaks even louder.
That video was bad. That video was bad. That video was bad.
Even if there was a prosecutor or some investigator out there who were still having doubts or doubting the case, doubting whatever it is, when that video came out, there's now no doubt. If you're the guy investigating the matter and you've got his dossier in front of you, you're triggered now to go after this guy. you're thinking this is a bad MF. I need to deal with
mm,
this guy.
mm.
And they might say it's not personal, but it is personal on some level. Investigating a crime like that is personal.
Did you hear what his lawyer said on that particular case?
Mm.
The events that led to the him hitting her in 2016. Did you hear what he said today?
No, what was the reason?
So they said that Didi came out of the shower or something like that. I'm paraphrasing now. And Cassie was on his phone and got him. He was talking to some girl on the phone, and she hit his head. She hit his head with the phone and ran out with the phone um, and some things that she could get. And then he ran after her in his towel because he was trying to get his phone back because there was things on the phone that he didn't want her to see. So that is
Yeah,
their
but
own.
he was kicking her and dragging her though.
So my
He didn't
question
just
now is,
he didn't just grab
no,
the
me, I
phone.
even see me, I can even agree to that one because Rihanna came out and said she was the one that hit Chris Brown in the car while he was driving. She said that publicly, and we know that can happen. That's not the point. The point is, one, even if she hit his head and she took the phone and she ran to the lift, why didn't you just go to the lift and ask her, give me back my phone?
My phone.
Collect your phone and walk back to your hotel room. If you want to end the relationship, then end the relationship.
And
Or
that's
whatever you want
why
to do.
there's no defense for
Yes,
me.
there's no
That
defense. He
you
was
the
kicking
lawyer
her.
was
He
even
pulled her
stupid
head.
to
There's no
offer.
defense. There's no
He
defense.
dragged her by the hair now.
Bro, no defense.
Then don't forget, he went in and came back,
I saw it now. CNN,
which meant
Nick.
that if it was
I
only
think
about grabbing the phone, he'd come outside, he's already grabbed the phone,
Nick.
and he'd gone into the why come back and drag her inside.
Mm.
That video was a man asserting his dominance
Yes.
over a woman. It's no different, I think, from that's someone that you own.
Mm.
He was asserting ownership, dominance over her. There's nobody that sees that thing unless you are completely heartless.
No, it's wrong.
You
Oh, it's
watch
wrong.
that thing,
It's
you are
wrong.
going to
It's wrong.
think, and then
For
this guy
people,
comes in
because
for the next 2 weeks.
there's this narrative, and I don't want us to go into the indictment, and I don't want this. Yeah, it's long. It's 14 pages. You've not read it. I've read it, so it won't be fair. But guys, if you've read it, please leave your comments and don't forget to subscribe. So allow me, there's a growing trend of people, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm part of them as well, that believe that you know, why is it entertainers per se, not so much as businessmen, but entertainers per se, Cosby and um, our older brother, who's living in Bali now, Russell Simmons, who broke a lot of records, did great things with Fat Farm, did great things with Def Jam, did great things with Def Jam comedy, etc., etc. And they just get to this point, and I think it was Eddie Griffin that said something. It's on YouTube, and he said, "No black entertainer," and it was clear about the entertainer. Like I said, it's not talking about businessmen or lawyers or the rest of it. He said, "No black entertainer leaves the world, debt free." So he said they either get broke, they're on drugs, or they mess their names up. And he started mentioning names like Michael Jackson, drug overdose, Prince, drug overdose, George Michael is not black. Mentioned James Brown had drug issues, Ray Charles drug issues, Stevie Wonder at some point had drug issues, but he's still alive. And I think he mentioned about 7 or 8 people. Michael Jordan gambling at some point. He said they just seem not to have this. It's difficult. No, there are a few, but it's so difficult, so rare to find. So a school of thought now came was like, is there something going on? Is there a conspiracy? Is there something just stopping them from having like a blemish free? Or are we asking for too much? Should somebody have a blemish free career or a public image at that level? Is that even supposed to be the norm? Because even if you take it to business, Mark Zuckerberg has been in trouble numerous times. Facebook, same thing with Mr. Gates. He had to drop down from CEO and become chairman because of all the antitrust issues. So I think, is it something to do with extreme wealth when you get to a point in time? Dangote got his own recently, but they kind of like got to an agreement. I- Is he asking for too much that you get to that level and you expect to be walking without anything associated with your name, or is that the territory? Is there some kind of setup? I know not in this case because like we just talked about the video that we saw, but do you think it's a mixture or are people overreacting? Just throwing the question out.
Look, I don't look. You know what I'm like. I'm not big on conspiracy theories.
Mhm.
I happen to think that let's look at the background. These guys make money and find fame when they're fairly young.
Yes.
For athletes, for entertainers, Usher's been a star since he was in his early teens, I think.
Mhm.
Okay. The Jackson boys were stars before they were teenagers. Okay. I think you're dealing with people who are very powerful from a very early age.
Yeah.
And because they're powerful, you have people who are not able to say no to them. Now, now you're able to achieve pretty much everything, you'll be able to try everything before you're able to properly appreciate the risks or appreciate the tastes. I don't know if I'm making sense. So everything is okay. Everything is given, everything is handed to you. Nobody tells you no. You like that car. You call your manager, oh, I like that car. They deliver it. You like that girl. Somebody you say, oh, I like that. You're in a restaurant. I like that girl. You either walk up to her, or you ask somebody to walk up to her and tell her that, oh, Yemi
You're
likes that
right.
girl.
David Beckham made that. David Beckham's agent made the introduction to Victoria. He saw her on
Yeah,
TV. Spice Girls.
yeah,
Just using that as an example.
yeah. So you
It can
get that.
happen.
Uh,
Yeah.
you already have name recognition. So the person, Jonathan, oh, I'm so and so person. Then very few people say no to money. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying physical cash. I'm saying to people that have money. So the those guys are not used to hearing a lot of no's. I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about money and power. You know, I'm just using the word money to represent it.
I understand.
They're not used to being told no. And so, yes, the things that you would not even think to ask for, I mean, things that you and I would not think to ask for, somebody telling them yes to it, or somebody's offering it to them.
Hmm.
So he likes a girl, says hi to the girl. And the odds are he'll find out very quickly that a lot of the women he meets are available. And if he's gay, a lot of the men he meets are available to his star power. And so, and vice versa. I don't know to extent. I've never been a woman. I don't know to what extent it's, you
Hmm.
know, but I can speak for men that it's there. If you meet five girls, I reckon four of them are interested immediately. And that one, if
At
you
that
now,
level.
and if yes, I mean, you're famous, you're wealthy, you're famous, you're powerful. So just imagine that you do this the first year, second year, third year for someone like Didi, third year, fourth year, fifth year in there. You're making careers, you're making people millionaires, Didi agrees to produce you or sign you onto Bad Boy. You're supposedly made for life. He can make you a star. I mean, you recall Burner Boy's album, the one that Didi produced.
Hmm.
That's the one that got him the Grammy.
And since
So
then,
he's
he
got
hasn't been
clout.
able to win another one. Yeah.
He's got clout, right? He's got clout, he's got power, he's got money. So I think you get to the point. Now, I don't believe that there's somebody trying to take down powerful men of color. I don't look, I'm not saying it's implausible, but we can't honestly say that these guys are being framed. It's a different matter if you're saying these guys are being framed. But no, these guys are actually doing these things. Whether it's Michael Vick and the dog fighting. Now you might argue that, oh, Michael Vick was not the only guy that was dog fighting. How come he's the only one that was caught and arrested and jailed for it? But then
Or
look,
you can say
if
it's
you all
excessive if it was. I mean, we don't even want to get into that, but there's evidence of police treating black people one way and white people. That's incontrovertible evidence in the US, at least. That one is not even. I mean, George Floyd is an example, and
look,
there's no example
there's
of a
no
white guy
doubt in it that we are
that they
seen
pressed for
as
9 minutes. None, not one in America. So
no, there's no doubt that we are seen as less than human, and it's not just the US, but the US is just the most popular example. We are seen as less than human, no
but
doubt
your
about
point
it.
is that it's not that they are totally innocent either, is your point. I get it. No, I get it.
Now, look, nobody's 100% clean,
Hmm.
but like I keep saying to people, there's some guys that you investigate
Hmm.
and investigate and investigate and investigate and find nothing because they truly are just conservative. That's not to say that they don't have any skeletons, but when the skeletons come out, you're like, is that it? Do you know they're unremarkable for their skeletons? In the world of Jeffrey Epstein, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that guy
In the world
wasn't
of
doing it on his, it wasn't doing it on his own. So
no, no,
and
no,
then,
yeah, I mean,
but
they
now
will
the,
always
the
have
annoying
friends
thing
and
is
neighbors, yeah,
the annoying thing is Epstein is gone a couple
yeah.
of years now, and those names we still don't know those names. They redacted those names. I saw it on CNN. And there was a long list, and they redacted it, and now everything is sealed. So who are the people that were on that list?
There are powerful people on that list. There are powerful
Wow,
people on that list, no doubt, no
wow,
doubt, no doubt,
wow.
no doubt. And the
So
powerful will
you can
protect their own.
so you can see why I'm saying these things. That's why I asked that question,
Oh, there's
because
no doubt.
it's
There's no
never
doubt.
those kind of questions are never going to go away. By the way,
No, they won't.
irrespective of what we say on this
Mm,
video, it's never going to go
mm.
away. People, but the danger with conspiracy theories, like you said, is difficult to prove.
So very
Yeah.
difficult. And then look, I don't doubt that there's a casting couch that for decades,
Hmm.
people who are in positions of power in the entertainment industry are soliciting and securing sexual favors
Mhm.
from young men and women in order
Hmm.
to make or break their careers or whatever. I don't doubt it. It's not a secret.
Hmm.
And it's become the norm. Some of these guys don't even think it's a big deal. Some of them were also victims. So when they get a place of power, they just continue. They just think it's the norm. You heard
Hmm.
it all throughout Diddy's indictment. They kept saying that they told me this is how we get ahead in the industry. People kept saying this is how you do it. So it's sold to you. Maybe for you know when Diddy was coming up, that was what it was. Maybe that's what he had to put up with himself. Who knows? Maybe it was somebody's bottom boy himself.
Hmm.
Who knows?
Hmm.
But it's there. There are people enabling them. You also get bored of the ordinary. I imagine that. I can't remember what movie it was, where the guy was like, it got to the point where threesomes got boring. Can't remember what movie it was. It was a movie about some athlete.
Hmm.
And the guy was like, nah. I'm trying to remember this movie about a rock star. I think it's called Rockstar. This Mark Wahlberg. Is it Mark Wahlberg?
Oh, is it Boogie Nights?
No. It's a movie
Not Boogie
called
Nights.
Rockstar. Hold on.
Or Rockstar.
Yes, stars Mark Wahlberg. And so in the movie, he's a guy who sings in a band with some of his friends. He sing in a tribute band, and then the main guy. So like, there's a big rock group. Their lead singer
Hmm.
decides to quit in the middle of a concert,
Wow.
and this guy is pulled on stage, and he comes and joins anyway. So he's follows the whole rock star lifestyle from this guy, this neophyte, to how he becomes a full-on rock star himself. And then he talks about how there are parts of the movie where he first of all started going out with, and there were groupies. And he's
Hmm.
first of all initially naive about hanging out with groupies, like, and then to the point where he's now having full-on orgies
Wow.
because it's now normal. So one groupie became normal, two groupies became normal, then three, and then it's a room full of people. because nobody's telling you no. Because someone's like, "Oh, would you like, do you like that girl? I can get her for you." Hey, okay, sure. All right.
That's easy.
And the guy, and truly, the guy brings the girl over. You guys talk. Okay. You guys have sex, or you realize that she's smitten by your aura, but your whatever it is, your power, your talent, your money, whatever it is. And then you, or this guy or this girl, whatever it is, whatever your preference is. Okay.
But
Yes.
is that normal? Is that
Then
normal?
I think you
Hmm.
get look, they get bored. It's like you get to a point where it's like the guy who's never had champagne, who now becomes rich and is able to have champagne every day. After a while, champagne itself gets boring
Hmm.
because now it's every day.
Hmm.
So you see a woman on TV, like that girl, I like that model. Are you able to find someone to find her for you? Was it Michael Caine that saw his wife on TV or something? I went to pursue her.
Real life.
Didn't he go and find her? I think it took him a while to find her.
Hmm.
But he's married to her. He's been married for maybe 60 years or something.
Wow.
A long time. Maybe 50 years. Who knows? I can't remember now. But yeah, saw her on TV or someplace. I went to look for her. When you can call your manager and be like, see that music video, or that, can you see that magazine? That that girl on the cover of that magazine. I want to talk. I want to meet her.
And you do.
And your manager is able to pick up the phone, call 3 people, and he's able to get her for you.
Wow. Wow.
At some point,
Man,
the norm is now, the extraordinary is now normal. And if you're young and you have
you
power,
become impressionable.
no one is telling you no. So, you know, society provides some guardrails for you for the most part.
Yeah.
Now, if you lose those guardrails, then what are you doing? If you So look, let's give you the house. Your parents have on their just on their dressing table, they keep their money.
Mm-hmm.
You know that even if there's a million naira there, you can't touch it. Who born you? But you go there on the first day, you take 100 naira.
You
Your
go down the
parents are away,
second day.
they don't complain. You go there, they took another 100 naira.
Hmm.
See, one day you go there and take 1,000 naira. One day you just go there and move all the money. Don't carry it. Because nobody has said stop it. I think that's the slippery slope that celebs find themselves on, where nobody's telling them no, and they're doing and then ever more outlandish things are becoming normal. And then
Yeah.
if you're not careful, you will break the law and you lose your soul.
And this thing that you're saying is very, very important. Denzel Washington said something. He said when he started, Sidney Poitier of blessed memory
Mm,
was his mentor, and I think it was his mentor till probably he died. And it was coming up the rank, and he got an opportunity to make a lot of money. His
mhm,
agent got him this gig, as they are called, but he
mm.
wasn't feeling the script. It was a bad script according to Denzel. I mean, he knows about scripts, right? But so they
We
know,
hope
these
so.
guys
We,
know.
we
Yeah,
hope so. Mm.
yeah. After 2 Grammys, so he knows about
Oscars,
script, and
yeah.
he called him and he said, "Do I like this film and I want to do this film, and the money is good and everything." And he said Sydney told him that, is it the money that you're interested in, or is it the script that you're interested in? He said he doesn't like the script. So Portier said something to him. He said he will never forget, and it was one of the things that guided him to get to where he got to. He said it's very, very rare that you get a great script when starting out, and you also get great money. But you're likely to get great money and a bad script. He said the problem with that is that this industry typecasts and you're only as good as your. That's why you've seen a lot of comedians, Kevin Hart, Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy. They don't cast them in non-comedic roles. They find it hard because producers are just like, nah, he's a comedian. Like, no, but I can act other things. No, you're a comedian. That is who you are. So they typecast. So he said, if you go and get this, if you go and do this job, it's up to you at the end of the day what you want to do. And just tying into what you said about choices, you can do this movie, you can make a lot of money, buy your house, and da da da. Da. It said, but the next gig that's going to come, especially if the film does well, is going to be along that same script. And before you know it, your next 10, 15 movies, let's assume that was a romantic comedy or a romantic film, they will be typing, they will just be giving you romantic lead roles. And you that you are Denzel, you know,
Typecast
I
you,
can do
yeah.
training day, I can box, I can do Muhammad Ali, I can do Malcolm X. They're like, no, you are the guy that gets the babe at the end of the film, and everybody falls in love with you because you are tall, black, and handsome. And Denzel is like, no, I'm not that guy. I'm a lot of guys. I can do Othello, and I can do Shakespeare, and I can do Muhammad Ali, and I can do whatever. But Portier told him that because you've picked a bad script, you are not allowing them to see you in other lights. So he said, you can do whatever you want to do, but my advice is follow your heart. And Denzel said that. And he said, guess what? He said the money will still come. And now Denzel has both. He has a lot of money and he has the critical acclaim. But many people find it hard to choose properly. And it's the same thing you said about around that lifestyle. Uh, it's at the end of the day, it comes down to a choice. It comes down
Yeah,
to a choice. Denzel is also known. Sorry, I'm taking the conversation away, but he's also known to
no, it's
say
fine.
a lot of the parties. They were asking him, has he gone to the parties? He said yes, he's gone to some of the parties, but he doesn't stay late at some of the parties. He's gone, but yeah, he's known for not staying late. He just shows up. Yeah, some of them industry parties, but most of the time he doesn't go because I think again is about that world. It's a different world, like you said. You know, easy access and drugs and a lot of stuff happens in that kind of world. And like you said, when nobody says no to you and you're used to nobody saying no to you, you can easily get influenced in that world. And so many other things go on in that world as well. So,
Oh yeah.
where do you think this is coming back to Diddy? What do you think is next? Obviously, there's going to be a trial. Um, what do you think is next for him, and what do you think is next for people at his level, um, like lessons to learn, etc. Just to conclude this one.
I think there's definitely going to be a trial.
Grand jury.
I would like to say that Diddy gets convicted. I would like to see it and say it and hear it. I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see.
His life is amazing. OJ Simpson beat the first set of charges and went to prison for something completely different, right?
Yeah, completely different. Because you know, part of this, because I read the indictment, I think page 14 of the indictment, there's actually a forfeiture of assets associated with it. So those three houses.
Because of the trafficking, because of the RICO laws. When they allege RICO and they convict you is racketeering, basically. So all the you're required to lose all the proceeds of the criminal activities alleged.
Maybe this is why he sold his shares in Revolt. I don't know. Because I think they said one of the things, like, you know, like you mentioned at the beginning of this, billionaires, but the problem is once that billionaire is charged or indicted, that billionaire doesn't have access to the billions, that billionaire doesn't have access to shares, that billionaire doesn't have access to. So sometimes they may not, unless they have a retainer already with an established law firm that they've said both criminal and civil, I've just given you a crap load of money. I don't know, I may enter trouble tomorrow. But if they are looking for fresh funds and their assets are being seized, that can become problematic. And sometimes that cash now becomes, yes, that person on paper has a lot of money, but like you said, due to RICO laws and some other laws, They may not
Assets
have
in
access to
prison,
be able
yeah. Hmm.
to get money to hire the best lawyers. But we'll see. I mean,
In
stranger things
Diddy's
have
case,
happened.
I would be shocked. I would
If
be
he,
totally shocked if he didn't already have the best lawyers on retainer.
so here's the
From that,
question.
mhm.
Here's a question. I mentioned something about him not being the only one, and you also mentioned Epstein. A scenario exists that Diddy makes a deal.
Mhm.
Now they have it all on table. Guys, spoken to his lawyers. I don't want to do time. His lawyers are like, dude, you're going to do time. Come up with something else, right? His lawyers are either going to lie to him that you can beat the case. We beat something similar in the past, maybe. I'm alleging now, I have no idea. Or his lawyers can say, okay, you are going to have to do some time. And maybe, uh, you know, 50% of that time, but you have to give the prosecutor something more than yourself. Who are these other people that you're rolling with? Do you have any evidence? Because the story
Mm.
becomes a bigger story to me. If I was a prosecutor, Diddy and four other guys on Diddy's level is a bigger story than just Diddy. Because if Diddy gets taken down and he goes to jail, the chances of him dying there are quite high. They're gonna have to pretty much put him on witness protection, and yeah, even the jail guys to have their own code of conduct. They don't like people that mess with children. They don't like people that do any kind of sexual stuff to women. They have their own code of conduct. R. Kelly he's talked about it of being beaten severally in prison. So they don't like those stuff. So they will take him apart. Or we might hear someday if he goes to jail that he might kill himself. So
Big
he's going
soup.
to be clutching at straws to get any
Big,
kind of
many soup. We big soup.
there's that too. Allow me, somebody that has been used to so much luxury for the last 30 years,
Hmm.
this life. He has a
30
way of
years.
he's been bowling for he's been bowling for
I thought isn't it longer than that?
he's been bowling for at least 30 years.
Because that would be when, because probably even
Yes,
longer than that.
yes now. When did this guy die? When did Notorious die? Notorious died in 1997. And he was bowling before that. He was bowling as far back as 94. And
Yeah,
what 2004, that's 20 years. He was bowling before
probably
94.
long before, even before then.
Probably 91. Yeah, 1991. Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah. Probably 1991. But like real money probably came in his 30s or maybe his 40s. But he's been having a good life.
He's had a very good long. Well, I mean, for at least 30 years, you're very correct. For at least 30 years.
So I mean, we'll see. We'll see. For the record, we don't we both condemn the behavior, the activity, the beating, the pulling of hair that happened. The rest, they will have their day in court to prove it. They say they have videos, so I'm sure all those things will be shown um, in court, and the lawyers will have their own say in court as well. Um, and he
So
was
yeah,
given the keys. He
let's
was
go.
given
Let's
the,
go at 94. 94 is 30 years. You're very correct.
yeah. So he was given the keys to New York. They don't just give anybody the keys to the city in
Hey
America.
man.
It's like the top of the top of the top. And Diddy was given the keys to two cities, New York and Miami.
Mhm.
So he's not just elite of the elite. He was elite. He
Fat
did
cat.
yes, he did music, he did media, he did clothing, he did television, he did entertainment. That's entertainment outside music. He did movies,
Yeah.
like sponsored some movies,
There are
acted in one
TV
or two
shows.
films.
Yeah.
But if you, yeah, do you think he saw it coming? So this thing. So let's conclude on this. Where let's even remove the enablers and remove the yes men. Do you think a time comes where these guys just think, or women, as the case may be, or guys, because we're talking about Diddy, a time comes and they say, ah, man, is because for me, the wake up call should have been when Cassie
It
came
was
to.
already too late. It was already too late at that
No, it
point.
wasn't late. It wasn't late. I'll tell you why it wasn't late. If you read that stuff, I read it. They went back and forth for 5 months. Allow me,
Mhm.
5 months. The figure is still undisclosed, but they said some people say it's $30 million. You and I know that that guy is going to spend way more than $30 million for this case in terms of legal fees, right? So my question is, for me, that should have been the wake up call to say, okay, me and Cassie lived together for 11 years, whatever. She has stuff on me that can really take me down. She wants a certain amount of money, but it's tied to the question I asked before. The ego, like who is Cassie? Do you know who I am? You know, we do it in Nigeria now. Do you know who is my father? So do you know who I am? You small Cassie, you probably only had one number one hit. Do you know how many people that have taken to number one? Do you know how many mansions I have? Do you know how rich I am? But look at this small in Nigeria, they say now small mosquito, they give person malaria. And nobody has been able to identify the mosquito that gave him malaria. Ever. But you get malaria. It knocks you down 2, 3 days. You have a headache. Your pee is red
But
or your pee is orange or whatever.
in Diddy's case,
He could have settled this point I'm making. He could have
okay, so he settled Cassie.
he now, but by the time he
What
settled
about the
Cassie,
others?
it's true, it's true, it's true. How many
Look,
people do you know?
this is not a one-off. There are guys
No,
alleging, there are
but
women
now
alleging.
the Cassie case was the one that
Catalyst
really.
that triggered everything.
Yes, there had been other allegations. There had been other people, but I don't think they had the. See, those girls were probably jump offs or girls he had one or two things with.
Mm.
Cassie lived with him, like I said, for 11 years. That's that's probably almost as long as Kim Porter, his late wife, lived with him. So she lived with him every day. She was part of the freak offs, whether it was coerced or on her own volition, whatever. It doesn't matter. She knew him. She probably and when she went to the feds, for him to have settled within 48 hours and for him to drop huge undisclosed. And
I
they said
mean,
Didi
this
doesn't
guy
like
knows
dropping
what.
money. Look at how long it took for him to release the masters for 112 locks and Mace. Mace and him are still fighting. You and I know that the richer people get, the harder it is for them to part with money. Wealthy people don't like spending money that they don't have to spend. And then the ego now is like, who are you? So I'm thinking that should have, for me, that would have been the checkpoint to say, man,
It
my
was
time is up.
already too late.
It was too late.
It was only, I think it was only a matter of time. I think since the
Yeah.
Me Too movement,
Okay.
women
That's,
have come out more and more, and they've been more emboldened to come out and say and tell their truth.
yeah. And I don't want us to go
Cassie
too
was no
far
doubt
into
the
acid
catalyst.
case. Obviously, it's related to what we're talking about because that's
I mean,
what
Cassie
triggered.
was a catalyst. It's the one that, like, if you were skeptical before about Cassie's case, if you thought before that, and some people are skeptical that when the woman says, "Oh, this guy did this," there are a lot of people who say it's a lie, Joe.
Hmm.
But from the second the video evidence came out, it was no longer a case of this girl
And
wanting
was
to
then
take
because
money.
obviously people have also lied in the past now
Mm.
and stuff. So, but with the video coming out, yeah, but yeah, it looks bad. We'll see. Trial hopefully will start soon, and justice will prevail. Justice will prevail.
Amen.
Yeah.
For
Amen.
those women, look, I've read those accounts. For those women, if he did half of what those women allege, throw him under the prison, I beg.
Hmm.
Throw him under the prison.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. Anyway, we're going to leave it here. Thanks for staying with us till the
Thank
end.
you very much for
Another
watching.
PSA. If you're new to our channel or you've been here before and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It means a lot to us. Give us a like as well. It helps the algorithm recommend our video to more people, and share across your social media networks. If you have it on your WhatsApp status, that wouldn't hurt either. We love what we do and we love you guys. to also join us, comment. And if
Join
you
us.
want to be a part of the show, you have something you want to share, we can always talk with you offline, and we'll bring you up as a guest and we'll discuss it. So we just discuss all types of content, not just entertainment news. If you watch, and you should go and watch some of our earlier videos as well. And Lami, any last thoughts before we wrap up?
If you have any questions for us, any comments for us, please send us an email. We're available at twogrownmen@gmail.com. We're on
Yep.
Instagram at Two Grown Men. We're on Twitter X as Two Grown Men.
Yep.
We're here. We're here as Two Grown Men. We thank you very much for watching us, for supporting
Thank
us.
you. Thank you so much.
We want to remind you again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, and please share us with somebody. Thank you very much for watching us.
I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Yemi.
Good night.